That water heater on your wall costs $2,500 to $4,500 installed. Your plumber charges $150 to $350 every time he flushes it, twice a year in hard water for 20 years. Most people only think of citric acid as the sour powder in a canning jar. It is the same chelating acid inside the bottle descaler that plumber carries in. He is paid by the visit, so every clogged aerator and weak flush is a billable call. Number 4 alone is $400 a year for 40 minutes of your own time. Before you spend anything, unscrew your kitchen faucet aerator, dry the screen, and scrape it with a thumbnail. White chalky grit means you do not have a plumbing problem. You have a chemistry problem. Here is the whole idea in one sentence you can repeat to your spouse tonight. Hard water leaves behind calcium carbonate, which is chalk. And citric acid does two things to that chalk at the same time. It releases hydrogen ions, which dissolve the deposit the way any acid would. Then it grabs the loose calcium and magnesium with 3 separate arms and holds them in solution so they cannot settle back down. Chemists call that second part chelation. Vinegar only does the first part well. That is why a 3% citric acid solution clears a scaled kettle in about 15 minutes, while 5% vinegar needs an hour. Water Technology magazine lists citric acid among the standard reagents used to clean ion exchange resin in commercial water treatment. This is not a folk remedy. It is the professional chemistry, sold in a food-grade bag instead of a labeled bottle. 5 pounds runs about $25 to $35 online, and one treatment uses half a pound. That is $3 of powder. Number 1, your kitchen faucet used to fill a pot fast, and now it takes twice as long, and only that one faucet is slow. You assume the pipe is narrowing somewhere inside the wall. It is not. The aerator screen at the tip of the spout has closed up with carbonate scale, and that screen is the size of a dime. A plumber will book that as a faucet repair at $100 to $250. We'll talk you into a new faucet at $200 to $500 installed. Unscrew the aerator by hand or with tape-wrapped pliers. Drop it in a cup with 2 tablespoons of citric acid and 1 cup of hot tap water. That is about a 5% solution. Wait 20 minutes. Rinse it, brush it with an old toothbrush, screw it back on. Full pressure returns for pennies, and you keep the $200. Number 2, your shower sprays sideways, and 2 or 3 jets have gone dead, and the water hits the wall instead of your shoulders. You think the valve is failing. The nozzles are simply plugged with the same white mineral. A plumber charges $150 to $450 to replace a shower fixture, and the new one will plug up in the same 18 months. Fill a plastic sandwich bag with 2 cups of hot water and 3 tablespoons of citric acid. Stir until the powder disappears. Rubber band the bag over the shower head so the face is submerged. Leave it 30 minutes for light scale and 2 hours for heavy scale. Pull it off, run hot water for 1 minute, and wipe the face with a cloth. The dead jets come back. That is $400 you did not spend on a fixture that was never broken. Number 3, your toilet flushes weakly. The bowl swirls instead of pulling, and you have to hold the handle down. You think the flapper is worn. Most of the time, the small rim holes under the lip of the bowl have crusted over, and the water that should drive the flush is trickling. A plumber calls that a toilet repair at $120 to $300, and if the bowl looks old, he will quote a replacement at $250 to $800 installed. Shut the supply valve. Flush to empty the tank. Pour 4 tablespoons of citric acid into the empty tank and refill it. Flush once so the acid water sits in the rim channel. Wait 1 hour, then flush 3 times. Run a bent wire around each rim hole. Your flush comes back for under $2. And now stay with me, because the next one is the single most expensive habit in this entire video. Number 4. This is the one. Your hot water goes lukewarm in the shower for a few seconds and then comes back, or your tankless unit throws a scale warning code. Or the plumber tells you the annual service is due. You think you are buying peace of mind. What you are actually buying is 40 minutes of a technician standing next to a bucket. Inside a tankless heater sits a copper heat exchanger, and every gallon of hard water passing through it at high temperature leaves a ring of calcium carbonate inside that coil. Scale is an insulator, so the burner fires longer for the same hot water, and the unit reads that as a fault. Professional descaling is quoted at $150 to $350 per service, and in hard water regions manufacturers and service companies push twice a year, which is $300 to $700 annually over a 15-year heater life. That is thousands of dollars of labor for a bucket, a pump, and 2 hoses. Here is the exact method. Shut off the gas at the valve or kill the breaker on an electric unit. Close the blue-handled cold service valve and the red-handled hot service valve. Open the 2 purge ports and drain the residual water into a bucket. Put a 1/6 horsepower submersible pump in a 5-gallon bucket. Fill it with 4 gallons of hot water and dissolve 1.5 pounds of citric acid into it while stirring. That gives you roughly a 4% solution, which is in the same working range as the commercial descalers. Run 1 washing machine hose from the pump to the cold purge port and a second hose from the hot purge port back into the bucket. Open both purge valves. Switch the pump on and circulate for 45 minutes. Check the bucket at 15-minute intervals. You will see white flakes drifting to the bottom, and that is the scale leaving your heat exchanger. Shut the pump off. Close the cold purge port, connect the hot side hose to a drain, and open the cold water inlet for 2 full minutes to rinse every trace of acid out of the unit. Close the purge ports, remove the hoses, open both service valves, restore gas and power, and run a hot tap until the temperature holds steady. Now the honesty. This will not repair a cracked heat exchanger, a failed igniter, a bad flow sensor, or a venting problem. If your unit has no isolation valves, or if the work touches the gas line, you must call a licensed plumber, because gas is not a place to save money. But if the valves are there, and the unit simply has scale, you did a $350 service for about $8 of powder, and you can do it every 6 months forever. If that one saved you a service call, subscribe, because the next chemical we take apart is the one appliance repair techs charge the most to hide. Number 5. Your standard tank water heater rumbles, pops or knocks when it fires. You assume it is dying. It is water boiling under a layer of sediment on the tank floor. A plumber charges $75 to $150 for a tank flush, and a replacement is $800 to $2,500. Kill the power or set the gas to pilot. Hose the drain valve and empty the tank. Close the drain, add half a pound of citric acid through the anode port, refill, and let it sit 2 hours. Drain and refill again. The popping stops, and you protect a $2,000 asset for $3. Number 6. Your softener is regenerating on schedule, but your water still feels hard and the soap will not lather. You assume the resin is finished and you need a rebed. Often the resin is only fouled with iron and mineral, and the brine injector is partly blocked. Softener repair runs $150 to $600, and the service call alone is $40 to $100. Check your owner manual first, because some makers name approved cleaners and forbid the rest. If citric acid is allowed, dissolve half a pound in warm water, pour it into the brine well, and run a manual regeneration. Pull the injector and soak it 15 minutes. Capacity often returns without a single part. Number 7. Your dishwasher leaves gritty film on the glasses and a smell in the kitchen. You blame the detergent and buy expensive pods. The spray armholes are scaled, and the filter is holding a mineral crust. A plumber replacing a scaled garbage disposal quotes $250 to $600. Lift out the filter and soak it in a quart of hot water with 2 tablespoons of citric acid for 20 minutes. Clear each spray armhole with a toothpick. Then set 4 tablespoons of citric acid in a bowl on the top rack and run the hottest cycle empty with no detergent. Do this every 3 months. Number 8. One of the little shutoff valves under your sink or behind your toilet will not turn, and it weeps when you force it. You think you need it replaced. Usually mineral has cemented the stem and the packing. A plumber treats that as a minor repair at $150 to $350, and a failure inside the wall is $400 to $1,200. Soak a paper towel in 1 part citric acid to 5 parts hot water and wrap it around the stem and the packing nut. Bag it, leave it 2 hours, then work the handle gently. Be honest here. If the valve is green, weeping from the body, or gritty to turn, stop and call a licensed plumber. Acid does not repair corroded brass. Number 9. Your ice cubes are cloudy and small, or the ice maker fills slowly. You assume the ice maker is failing and price a new refrigerator. The inline valve screen and the fill tube are scaled. A plumber visit for a refrigerator supply line runs $175 to $450. Shut the supply, disconnect the line behind the refrigerator, pull the small screen from the fitting, and soak it in a cup of hot water with 1 tablespoon of citric acid for 15 minutes. Rinse, reinstall, and throw out the first 3 batches of ice. Number 10. A tub or sink drains slower every month. Even though you snaked it and nothing came out, you blame hair. In hard water, the real culprit is a collar of soap scum bonded to mineral, and a snake bores a hole through it instead of removing it. Plumbers charge $100 to $350 for drain cleaning and $350 to $1,000 for hydrojetting. Bail the standing water. Pour 4 tablespoons of citric acid down the drain, follow with 2 cups of water just under boiling, and wait 30 minutes. Flush with hot water for 2 minutes, and repeat monthly. If the drain backs up into another fixture, stop. That is a mainline problem, and it needs a camera, not chemistry. Number 11. This is the one that decides all the others. You do not know how hard your water is, so every failure is a surprise emergency at emergency prices. Annual tankless maintenance is quoted at $150 to $400, and emergency rates run $150 to $300 an hour, plus a call-out fee. Buy a strip test, run the cold tap 30 seconds, and dip it. Write the grains per gallon on tape and stick it to the heater. Under 3 grains, treat yearly. 7 or more, treat every 6 months. Now I give the trade its due. Commercial and manufacturer branded descalers do work. They work faster than vinegar, and they will not void a warranty. They are also mostly food-grade organic acid. Buy 1 bottle, read the label, then dose your own powder to match. Now the safety block, and please do not skip it. For descaling, mix between 3 and 10% by weight. That is roughly 2 tablespoons of powder per cup of hot water at the low end. Stronger is not better, and it will not save time. Never mix citric acid with bleach. Acid plus sodium hypochlorite releases chlorine gas, which burns the lining of your lungs. Do not mix it with hydrogen peroxide or ammonia-based cleaners. Do not put it on marble, limestone, travertine, or onyx. Those stones are calcium carbonate, which means the acid eats the stone exactly the way it eats scale, and the dull edge is permanent. Keep it off aluminum and off cast iron because it pits both. Keep it off unsealed grout and off silicone caulk. Wear gloves and eye protection, do not breathe the dust, and mix in a ventilated room. Store the bag sealed and dry because it cakes when it takes on moisture. Caked powder still works. A mixed solution does not last, and you can tell it is spent when it stops fizzing on scale and a test strip shows the pH climbing. Call a licensed plumber for anything involving gas, venting, sewer lines, a leak inside a wall, or a valve that is corroded through. So here is the thesis. Citric acid does not fix plumbing. It removes the mineral that makes healthy plumbing act broken, and almost every slow, weak, noisy fixture in an American home is mineral, not mechanics. Your plumber is not a villain, but he is paid by the visit, and a scale problem you solve yourself is a visit he never bills. Put 1 date on your calendar, twice a year, on the first weekend of spring and the first weekend of fall. Do the aerators, the showerheads, and the heater in a single afternoon. That is the habit. This is Frugal Fixes, where the fix costs less than the call. Now go watch the one on your dishwasher and your washing machine, because there is a $5 powder that appliance techs genuinely do not want named. And the reason has nothing to do with cleaning.